Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you might be watching. I'd like to present to you an Excel video which will help to prepare you for a job application at employment agencies and positions that you apply for who may require Excel at a higher level than just basic. Now, the first thing we're going to do is to look at the various actions. There are 11 that we'll be looking at, and these are the questions that you may well be asked. I'll show you which tab they're in and which group to look for in the various tabs. The first one we'll look for is the Format Painter command, and we'll be using a file over here which has over 2,000 rows and 13 columns, so there's plenty of data for us to use. Now, the Format Painter button is in the Home tab in the Clipboard group. So, Home tab, Clipboard group, there is the Format Painter button. It looks like a little paintbrush, and it works like this. When I click on a cell and click once on the Format Painter button, I can copy that formatting one time. So I can't repeat the dose, as it were. I'll undo that last action and press Escape to put my cursor back into its normal shape. And this time I'm going to select that cell, but double click on the Format Painter button, and you'll notice that whenever I hover over a button I'm given a tooltip to actually tell me what will happen when I use commands. So I'll double click on the Format Painter button, and now I can see that I can copy the formatting as many times as I want. So remember, double clicking the Format Painter button will enable you to do just that, to copy the formatting from the selected cell as many times as you wish. To hold the selection, simply press the Escape key or click back on the Format Painter button, and it puts your cursor back into its regular shape. I'll undo those last actions. Remember, Escape takes me back to my normal cursor shape. Merging and centering. This heading is merged and centered. It is centered across column B, across to column D, and across the cells that I want to merge and then center the text. The command is in the Home tab in the Alignment group. So here I see a Merge and Center button. When I click into this cell and choose the drop arrow next to Merge and Center, I will unmerge those cells. So I see now that the data in those cells is not merged and centered. Now, when I drag through these cells, thus to select them, and then choose the Merge and Center command, I can either choose from the drop arrow or the button itself, I'll see that the heading is merged and centered. So it's quite simple. Now, the next thing we'll look at are cell indents. These can greatly increase the appearance of a spreadsheet. They work like this. If I select, for example, the country Germany, and for appearance sake, in the Alignment group in the Home tab, I see that there is an Increase Indent button, and when I click that, the data is indented. It can be very handy, as it were, for perhaps subheadings or the like. To decrease the indent with selected cells, I simply click on the Decrease Indent button. Very good for appearance within cells. The next thing we'll look at is sorting by multiple columns. Now, this command enables you, and you will be asked this in your test, to sort multiply. And the way we do it is look in the Data tab in the Sort and Filter group. So what I want to do here is to sort by country and then by salesperson, for example, within the country. So I'm sorting by 2 columns at the one time. I look in the Data tab, and in the Sort and Filter group I need to use this command here, this button. And when I click on sort, up pops the sort window, and it says how do you want to sort, and I can see I can add levels, delete levels, etc. here. So I want to sort first of all by country on the values in the cells for the country in A to Z, ascending order, and I'll add a level then by, let's say, salesperson on the values in the salesperson column in ascending order. And when I click OK, let's watch what happens in these two particular columns. First of all, they're sorted alphabetically by country and then by salesperson within the countries. So I can see here that the countries have been sorted. There's Argentina followed by Austria, and the salespeople are sorted by ascending order as well. Let's undo that last action and back to where we started. Printing grid lines and printing titles and using print preview is quite simple. In the page layout group, if you click on page layout, you can print grid lines by putting a tick in there, and if we want to print the titles as well, then we need to use the print titles command, which is in the page setup group, and print titles. So now I can see here that we're going to print grid lines and we're going to print the titles as well, and we look at the rows to repeat at the top by clicking this button here, and then I simply select the titles that I wish to print on every page. Then I bring back by clicking on the range selector, and let's go to print preview, and there I see that the grid lines will be printed, and the titles as I move through the different pages will also be printed at the top, because I use the commands print grid lines and print titles and saw them in print preview. So back to our file. Now let's look at the statistical formulas. You'll definitely be asked questions about these, and the statistical formulas include sum, average, max, min and count, and they can all be found in the formulas group in the drop arrow next to the auto sum button here. So if I click on the drop arrow, I'll see sum, average, the count numbers command, max and min. So these work, as you would be aware, on the on cells which have been selected that contain numbers. We'll look at those at the end of this video. Let's see if I can see the top 10% using conditional formatting. If not 10%, then maybe the top 1% of things like sales, numbers, etc. So what I'm going to do is to look in the Home tab in the Styles group for the conditional formatting command, and I'm going to look at this particular sheet and look for the top 1% of the extended prices. That is the highest value of sales for a particular product. So if I click on that cell and then hold down the Control key, Shift and then the down arrow, I select all the cells in that particular column. Control Home will take me back to the very start of the spreadsheet, but you'll notice that the extended prices have been unselected, so I just need to select them again. Control Shift drop arrow, and then I can drag my scroll bar right back up to the top. Now what I want to do is go to the Home tab, and in the Styles group, conditional formatting, and for example in the top and bottom rules, top 10%, no, I just want the top 1%, so I can change that as I need to. So the top 1% will fill with the default colours, light red fill, the dark red text, and when I click OK and deselect, I can see down here, further down, that there are cells which have been coloured. There's one there, there's one there. Now it will be handy if I select again this column, Control Shift and drop arrow, and this time I'm going to go to the Data tab and to the Sort command, and I'm going to sort by the extended price. I'm going to sort on cell colour. Which cell colour? That cell colour. And I want them all to be on top. And when I click OK, there are the top 1% of the sales highlighted for me. So that's a very handy way to analyse a large spreadsheet for an employer for whose job you are going for, where the spreadsheet is large, and you can easily sort by colour by using the Data tab. Okay, the next one, to see the windows side by side, as I've done here, all I did there was to look in the View command, and in the View tab, and go to the Windows command, where I can see that the Arrange All command is available. I make sure that there is a dot in tiled, and then simply when I click OK, it shows me the windows side by side. Now the next thing we'll look at is to insert a shape, and this can be really handy. I'm going to minimize this particular window so that I can see most of this particular spreadsheet, and this is where I can highlight areas that I might want to point out, perhaps using a projector, by inserting a shape. And I can do that by clicking the Insert Shape command, and I'm going to insert a circle. Now there is no circle available here in the shapes, but what there is an oval. And if I click on the oval and hold down the Shift key, it enables me to hold down the Shift key, that's better, and draw a circle. Now I want to move this circle over various areas, but I want to be able to see through the data in the background. So I'll go to Shape Fill and make the shape fill No Fill, click away. I still see the outline of the shape, and when I point near the edges I see the four-headed arrow, which means I can drag that shape around. And I can say, well, let's look at this particular area on the spreadsheet. Just click away to remove the selection handles, and it can be quite handy to do that, so that people's attention is drawn to a particular area on the spreadsheet. And finally, you may well be asked, do you know how to insert a pivot table? And the answer needs to be yes. We do that by clicking the Insert command, Pivot Table. Excel will guess at the area that you want to be included and surround its guess by a scrolling marquee. Some people call them marching ants. And it's one reason why before we insert pivot tables we should make certain that there are no blank columns or no blank rows. Blank cells are fine, but remove any blank rows or blank columns, because Excel will stop its guess at the first blank one of those it comes to. Now when I click OK on its own sheet here, I can create the pivot table, and I'll quickly create a pivot table with the country in the rows and the extended prices, for example, in the values. The values area is restricted to numbers, and there I've quickly summarised all the prices for the different countries, which are sorted in ascending order. So that's how we insert a pivot table. There are videos in my channel. If you search for pivot tables on this channel, you'll certainly find more advanced instruction on how to create pivot tables. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and good luck with your job hunting, and I hope to see you next time. Thank you so much.